Hey, how you doing? Arthur Wu here with a review and test of the Lumopro LP160 camera flash. So some of you may know that as of January 2013, Lumopro discontinued this unit and is coming out with an LP180. However, the date hasn't been announced yet, and for those of you who are waiting for it or looking to get a used LP160, there will probably be some showing up online as people are starting to upgrade to the newer model once it comes out. So this review is aimed at helping you decide whether the Lumopro units are for you or not. So let's go over some of the features. This is a manual flash unit that can be used on or off your camera. Manual means all the settings are set by you, the user, instead of the camera picking the settings for you. So here you have two simple controls for the power of the flash, which goes from full power all the way down to 1/64th of full power. And above is the zoom control for the flash, which is used to focus the flash more toward one area. It's also powered by 4 AA batteries and can mount either to the hot shoe of your camera or be used as an off-camera flash, as there are ports for triggers such as pocket wizards or radio poppers. So let's look at some of these test shots to see what this unit can do. Just a couple of notes before we get started here. These shots were taken at a nightclub with very little ambient light, which I thought would be a good test for the LP160. There's also no Photoshop on these photos, so you can see directly what's coming out of the camera. This first set of shots here, we have no flash on the left with very high ISO. So this looks okay, but there are still a lot of shadows on Veronica's face, and when you magnify it a lot, you can start seeing the grain because the ISO is boosted so high. You can see on the right-hand side, we are using the LP160 at 1/8 power. You can see the ISO is only at 400, so you're not going to get as much noise or any noise in this shot. And you can see overall everything's exposed better. You can see her face, you can see her shoulder, her arm. So overall it just looks like a better photo. Everything's exposed a little bit more nicely. These next couple of photos here, we have more of almost a full body shot, more of like a cowboy type shot. Again, on the left-hand side, there's no flash, ISO 3200, and the background is exposed pretty well because there are spotlights all over the background, but again, on the camera right, you see there's just a lot of shadows where none of the light is hitting her. And again, on the right-hand side, we have the flash, same settings, 1/8 power, 400 ISO, and the flash is actually pointed backward, bouncing back against the wall that was behind me. And you can see, again, it's just exposed better. You can see her expression, you can see what she's doing, you can see her arm. So overall, it just improves the photo just a little bit, just because you can see the subject and not just the background. And this last set here, I thought this would be a good example because this is something where you may not always need a camera flash. So don't think that this camera flash will solve all of your problems. It just really depends on the shot that you're going for. So on the left-hand side, there was a light bulb right above her face. And so I really like the look on this because it creates a lot of shadows, especially with the expression that she's making. It's a nice photo as far as the lighting goes. And so on the right-hand side, you'll see we have the flash on, but it actually makes the photo look a little bit flatter, just because there's not that many shadows, and the room was fairly small, so there's a lot of bounce on the light everywhere. So I like this without the flash, just because we did have that light bulb in the room. So it's really up to you, but the flash won't help you in every situation. You just kind of have to know what you're looking for. You can see with these test shots that this flash can take your photography to the next level if you haven't used flash before. Especially if you're going to be shooting at events where lighting may not always be the greatest, but you need to pack lightly. So this was my first off-camera flash unit, and I love it. I've had it for about 2 years now, and even though I mostly shoot with studio strobes or natural light, this is a great unit to get started with as it's relatively inexpensive. So being that it is a manual flash, it makes you think about the power settings and how they do work with the camera itself. The process can be a little frustrating as you learn through the trial and error, figuring out all the settings, but ultimately it makes you a better photographer. So a lot of working photographers, as well as hobbyists, use the LP160, so it's not limited to a certain skill level. There's an entire strobist community at strobist.blogspot.com where you can learn all sorts of lighting techniques using these flash units. So in fact, the Lumopro LP160 is one of the recommended camera flashes for both flexibility as well as price. So seeing as how the 180 is going to be replacing this unit, it's going to be an excellent time for you, for those of you who are looking to get a deal as people start to sell theirs to upgrade to the newer units once they come out. So I would recommend this flash, but keep in mind that if you're easily frustrated or you don't want to learn some of the finer details of the flash settings, this may not be the flash unit for you. You may want to look at TTL flashes, which help determine how much power the flash outputs based on the exposure of your camera. So it really helps you there. You don't have to figure out the settings. So there's a lot to be learned about shooting with camera flashes that I can't go through in this video since it's a review and test. But if you have any questions about this unit itself, post them below and I'll be happy to help where I can. All right, that's it for today. This is Arthur at arthurwu.com. And for more reviews and tips, subscribe to this channel. Peace.